Hey everybody, this is James Hernandez. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all doing good today, and welcome to my next horror movie review video for the year 2025. And I am here with my special guest, Chucky. Say hello, Chucky. All right, so the reason why I have my Chucky doll with me today is because today I'm going to be reviewing the third installment of the Child's Play franchise. So I actually brought all of these Child's Play sequels in this killer DVD collection, just like how I did my review for Child's Play 2. But today I'm going to be reviewing Child's Play 3. So Child's Play 3 is the third installment of the Child's Play franchise, which was released in 1991, a year after Child's Play 2, which that film was released in 1990. So in this movie, Chucky is tracking down Andy Barkley, who is now 16 years old, and he is tracking him, who went to the Kent Military School. And instead of processing his soul into Andy's body, he decided to go after this other kid named Ronald Tyler. So he is going after Tyler to transfer his soul into his body, just like what he was trying to do to Andy in the first two Child's Play movies. So it's all up to Andy Barkley to rescue Tyler and defeat Chucky once and for all. So I first discovered this movie when I was like in my room, and I was like scrolling around on Netflix to find some movies to watch. And when I was looking at some horror movies, and Child's Play 3 was on there, and to tell you guys that Child's Play 3 was actually the first Child's Play movie that I actually watched. Just like when Freddy vs. Jason was the first movie from the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises before I actually watched one of their films. So yeah, I actually did watch Child's Play 3, right, Chucky? Yeah, and, me and Chucky were watching his third installment of his franchise. And what do I think of Child's Play 3? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to like one of those sequels, I would say that Child's Play 3 is actually the most divisive or divisive of the Child's Play sequels, because there are some people that actually really liked it, or there's some people that say it's probably like one of the worst installments in the series right before Seed of Chucky came along. But in my opinion, I actually really had a lot of fun with Child's Play 3. Now, do I think it's as good as the first two Child's Play movies? No, but do I think it's a pretty decent sequel? Yes, I do. So let's start with the stuff that I really like about this movie. Let's talk about Chucky himself. Now, much like in the previous installments of the franchise, Brad Dourif has always killed his iconic voice role as Chucky. He did a very good job, and his lines, like in this movie, is actually one of my favorite lines. Like when he says, "Don't with the Chuck," is when he was attacking this one guy named Sullivan, when he sets like a trap for him, and then he uses he spills all the marbles on the floor, making him fall down and actually bump his butt. And then he actually hits him with the golf club thing, throws all the darts at him, and he was like bullseye. And then he strangles him with a yo-yo, and I'm like, really? Cause like that kill right there is just like one of the silliest kills I have ever seen in the franchise. And I was just like, you could have like do something a bit more violent, because like killing and strangling someone with a yo-yo is definitely not the most brutal death, but it's actually like one of the most like silliest deaths I've ever seen, in not just from the third movie, but like from the entire Child's Play franchise. So like right after that, he just decides he was tracking down Andy on the computer, and he noticed that he went to the Kent Military School. So he actually shipped himself to the Kent Military School in the Good Guys Dolls box, so Ronald Tyler can deliver to Andy Barkley. So when Andy Barkley is in the Kent Military School, he feels like that he doesn't really fit in, because like all these armies are just a bunch of unlikable bullies, and they just like harass Andy Barkley for no reason. However, there are some people in there that actually are pretty nice to him. One is the dorky roommate named Whitehurst. The girl who has a crush on him is Christian De Silva, and then the young kid, like I mentioned, was Ronald Tyler. So he only has like three friends in this movie, whereas like the rest of the adults as well as the other students who are part of the Kent Military School are just a bunch of like unlikable douchebags, and they just completely just like bully Andy Barclay for no reason, especially the leader, Colonel Sheldon, who is like one of the most like cold-hearted characters, and he's one of those characters that you would actually would love to hate. But the actor who plays him, I just think that he actually did a very good job. The other character that you can also pretty much despise is also the barber guy. The barber guy, I don't know his name, but like the barber guy, he's like so obsessed of like giving every single man in the Kent Military School a haircut, and then whenever like he finishes like giving one of those guys a haircut, he always kept saying, "Presto, you're bald," even though they're not bald. And he's also like one of those guys, just like with Sheldon. He's one of those characters that you would just like love to hate because of like how just incredibly mean spirited and how just like so uncomfortable like this guy personality is. And we're gonna get to the scene where you have Chucky. So then like the kill where he accidentally tries to give Chucky a haircut after he gave Whitehurst a haircut after breakfast. He saw Chucky and then he puts him on the chair, and then he was about to give Chucky a haircut, but then Chucky actually outsmarted him, and then he actually slit his throat with the razor, and then he was like, "Presto, you're dead." And then Chucky was laughing like when the barber guy was just like bleeding out from his throat. And that's actually like one of my favorite kills in this movie throughout the entire series, because Chucky actually teach this guy a lesson to not like cut his hair, because like he's not a human, he's a doll. So then like after when Chucky kills the barber, Whitehurst went back downstairs because he thought that he left something, but then when he saw the aftermath of when Chucky kills the barber, he actually scares him by saying boo, and then Whitehurst just ran off, and then he just like left, and then he kept everything to himself. He doesn't tell Andy or Christian or everybody else about what just happened to the barber guy. And he was just like, "Oh no, nothing's wrong. I'm fine." And I was just like, why are you keeping a secret, bro? Like you don't have to be scared. You know, just tell them what happened. You don't have to keep a secret. Why would you do that? So yeah, and I want to talk about the actor who plays Andy Barclay. Now, this is the first Child's Play movie where Alex Vincent did not return to his role. Instead, he was played by Justin Whalen. And what do I think of Justin Whalen? I think he was pretty good, even though he's not Alex Vincent from the first two movies. But what I really like about Andy Barclay in this is that not only that he was experiencing like some really bad memories that he has with Chucky from the previous two movies, but I really like that he is like being very independent. You know, he's like making sure that that Chucky doesn't get near Tyler when Chucky and Andy had a reunion, even though it wasn't the reunion that Andy wanted, because of like he doesn't want to experience Chucky ever again. So then like when Chucky explains to Andy about that he's going to go after Tyler, and then he was like, "Yeah, just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro." And then Andy was like, "I'm not gonna let you get away with this, and I'm not gonna go let you get near that kid." So the way how he has like a quick fight with Chucky was just really funny, and he just like throws like Sheldon's shoe at Chucky, and then he was just like beating the living snots out of Chucky, and it was just all the grunting and all that from both of those two, and I was just like it reminds me of like some kid was actually like throwing like a temper tantrum. It's just like trying to destroy his toy or something, and I was just like, of course. So yeah, I thought Justin Whalen as Andy Barclay. Although I would have wished that Alex Vincent would have come back, as much as I prefer Alex Vincent, Justin Whalen, I think he did a pretty decent job. He may not be my favorite actor who plays Andy Barclay, but I understand like why they had to like replace Alex Vincent with him, because the movie wants have Andy Barclay goes into his teens while Chucky still goes after him, and he's going to possess his soul to another kid. Now, the other character I really wanted to talk about is Christian De Silva. Christian De Silva is one of my favorite characters in this movie, and she's also one of the most underrated final girls in a horror movie. Much like when I said about Kyle on my Child's Play 2 review, Kristen De Silva is such a strong character, and what I really like about her is that I like that she actually stood up for Whitehurst when Sheldon was just like just being like a bully to not just to Whitehurst but also to Andy. And then Kristen De Silva does not play around when she actually talks back to Sheldon while she was like standing up for herself, Andy, as well as Whitehurst. And she's also has a crush on Andy, and she's also turns out to be the love interest. And I thought that Perry Reeves, who played her, did a very good job. Even though I kind of wish there was like more like chemistry between her and Andy Barclay, but the scenes with those two, I actually really buy their chemistry, and I actually want those two to be together. And I would have liked to see her again, like in probably in the future Chucky movie, like if Chucky actually ever decides to come back. He did return for the TV show, but I heard his TV show unfortunately got canceled for 3 seasons, which I don't know why. I watched like half of the third season of the Chucky TV show, but I didn't get to watch the entire show yet because of there was like a actor director strike that just happened. But but I'll get back to the Chucky TV show when I get the chance. But anyways, let's get back into De Silva. So, like I said, she's actually a very likable character, and she's very strong. And I do think that she is actually a very good love interest to Andy Barclay. And during the climax, when she and Andy were going after Chucky to save Tyler, when they went to the carnival, while it may not be like as scary or as impact as the climax from the first two movies, but it's actually still really fun. And and I wish that that Kristen De Silva actually didn't get injured when Chucky shot her. And I think that she would have also like helped Andy to like rescue Tyler when Chucky was about to transfer his soul into him before Andy comes to the rescue. So yeah, Kristen De Silva I think is a very underrated character, and she's one of the strongest characters, well, female characters in a horror movie, and she's also definitely going to be on my top 10 favorite girls in horror movies. So I actually really do think that she is such an underrated character, and much like with Kyle from Child's Play 2, she deserves the credit that she really needs. So yeah, I actually really think that Perry Reeves did a very good job playing the strong girl and being a really good love interest to Andy. Now, as for the kills, all right, I got a list of kills on my phone, just like when I did my review for Scream 2. So I screenshot this on my phone. So you want to help me, Chucky? All right, let's see. Because I got a whole list of kills of like of what Chucky costs. Okay, but don't worry, Chucky, you're not going to plead guilty in this video. All right, so it turns out that there was actually 7 deaths that Chucky has caused. Now, I did mention the barber guy's death, and what else? Yeah, and Sullivan's. But the other deaths I also wanted to talk about is not actually like where Chucky got his hands on, but it actually comes from the scare, and then it causes the guy to get a heart attack, and that is Colonel Francis. So when Colonel Francis was coming back to his office, and he saw the Chucky doll, and then he puts it in the garbage, and then he realizes that Chucky has moved. So when Chucky actually jump scares and causes the guy a heart attack, Chucky was like, "Oh, you got to be effing kidding me!" And then the guy actually was having a big heart attack, and he was like sweaty around over his face, and he actually passed out, and that's where he unfortunately dies. And I didn't think that Chucky would ever do that to his victims, like not like stabbing or basically just like hurting someone, but he basically just like killed the guy just by giving him a heart attack, just by scaring him. And that was like, what the heck? I was just like, yeah, and I had to agree with Chucky when he was like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like this is the way how you gonna like killed off one of your victims in the third installment of your franchise. So yeah, that death was so unexpected in my opinion, and it was just so ridiculous. Now there's actually another kill that is actually not basically from Chucky. It was actually from the red team. So when the blue team and the red team are going like in through the woods, So before that happens, Chucky actually replaces the paintball guns from the red team and he puts like real bullets. And Chucky was like, "Oh, this is how we're gonna slow these guys down." So he actually took the red paintings from the red team's rifles and he replaces them with the real bullets. So when Chucky gives Sheldon the middle finger, the red team actually shot Sheldon, and that's where Sheldon met his demise. And Chucky was like laughing when the red team was using real bullets to shoot at the blue team, and it's just ridiculous. So yeah, that was the death where you kind of felt like, yeah, you know, as much as like Sheldon was just being such a jerk and being such a bully to Andy, especially to everybody, he has to go. I'm sorry, he really does have to go. And also I got to mention the saddest death in this movie is Whitehurst. So after when Sheldon was shot and killed, half of the blue team were like blaming on Andy for Sheldon's death, even though he didn't commit it. So then Chucky got his opportunity to throw the grenade, and he was like, "Sayonara, suckers!" and he just throw it. And then Whitehurst discovers it, and then he decides to jump on top of the grenade, and he sacrificed himself. So then the grenade exploded and it killed Whitehurst, and I was just like, man, he just really sacrificed himself to like to save everyone, especially to his friend Andy and Christian De Silva, especially to the people who especially to like everyone who just like treats him and Andy like crap. So it was really sad to see Whitehurst go. It really is. And now let's talk about the climax of the movie. Now the climax is actually was, well, not as intense, it's not as scary as the first two movies, like I mentioned, but it's still really fun to watch. When Andy shoots Chucky to save Ronald Tyler, and then they're about to leave, but then like Chucky was not done. So what happens is that Tyler gives Andy his little knife, and he actually slices Chucky's hand off, and then Andy pushes Chucky off the ledge. And the scene like where Chucky actually falls into the fan and then it slices him, I was like, that is like one of the most creative and one of the most bloodiest Chucky deaths I have ever seen. It was really messed up. Like I didn't think that Chucky was gonna get sliced up, but apparently that he does. And then the movie ends with no, not Kyle, Christian went to is being taken to the hospital while Andy goes to go to the police car to get some questions about like what was happening. And we don't really get to see Ronald Tyler at the end of the movie after when Andy rescued him. So I was thinking to myself, where is Tyler right now? And I was like, where did he go? Like when Andy was going to the police car and Christian's being taken to the hospital. So, but we don't really get to see like what happened to Tyler. That's what kind of bothers me in this movie. But overall, I do think the climax is actually a lot of fun. While it might not be as scary or as impactful as the first two movies in the series, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. Just to see Andy now becoming like a very independent, strong character, and he actually is starting to learn of what Christian has taught him about using the gun, while he has to, you know, save Tyler from Chucky, who was about to transfer his soul into Tyler's body, just like what he was about to do to Andy in the first two movies. Um, so yeah, like I do think Child's Play 3 is actually a very entertaining sequel. It's definitely nowhere near as good as the first two movies, but I don't think it was as bad as everybody think it is. Because I know there's some people who said, "Oh, Child's Play 3 is the film that actually kind of like killed the franchise and just like kind of makes like the Chucky movies not come to the big screen." But that wasn't until like in 2000, I think 4, when Seed of Chucky came out. And when Seed of Chucky came out, that film literally didn't do very well. And that's where the Chucky movies that we pretty much get nowadays are just like are just re-releasing like a direct to DVD. But I think Child's Play 3 is not a bad sequel at all. It's not as good as the first two, but I still have fun watching it. And I still think that Perry Reeves, who played Christian De Silva, did really good. Justin Whalen, who plays Andy, while he's no Alex Vincent from the first two films, I still think he was pretty decent. And of course, Brad Dourif, who voiced Chucky himself, is still iconic. You know, much like with Robert Englund, who's best known for playing Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street films from the first one, all the way to Freddy vs. Jason. So yeah, overall, I think Child's Play 3, like I said, a decent third installment in the series. It may not be as good as the first two. It's not my favorite Child's Play sequel like the second movie, but I still have fun watching it. And if you really like to watch like a horror movie where it takes place in the military school and then you have this killer doll, Chucky himself, I recommend Child's Play 3 to like half of the Chucky fans. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give Child's Play 2 a 7.1 out of 10. Not a bad sequel. I think it's a fun one. It may not be as good as the first two movies, but I still had a good time watching it. I don't understand the hate that this film gets, but I still really like it. So again, yeah, it is the weakest, but I still think it's entertaining. Not as good as the first two movies. Definitely not as good as Child's Play 2, but I still really enjoy seeing Chucky tracking down Andy in the military school. So I thought that was really interesting. So folks, that is my review for Child's Play 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Child's Play 3? Did you guys think it's one of the weakest sequels, and do you think it deserves the hate until Seed of Chucky exists? Or do you think it's an underrated sequel? Let me know in the comments below. And also, feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make future videos. And stay tuned that I'm going to be reviewing Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. So we're going to see Jason Voorhees coming in my channel for his 6th installment in the Friday the 13th franchise. So that's all I got to say for today, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy my review for Child's Play 3. And I want to say thank you, Chucky, for being in my video, and I want you to say, say goodbye to the audience. He's waving. All right, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy my review for Child's Play 3, and hope you guys had a great day, and take good care of yourselves.